Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the chord voicings and melody for Agua de Beber by Antonio Carlos Jobim. Now, as an LGM members, you can get access to all my arrangements and sheet music, compositions, chord voicings tab, all of that on latinguitarmastery.com. So go ahead and join that for only $5 a month. You can do that at the link above. Now let's get stuck in. So we're going to start off by just playing through the chords and just looking at some of the voicings possibilities. So we're going to play this in the style of Bossa Nova. Your basic Bossa Nova pattern kind of sounds like that. So sometimes you can go, or you can do the opposite. So either of those two are fine, and there's lots of little variations in between. I've just given you a suggestion, and I often, as a player of Bossa Nova, I often change up those syncopations as needed, and it's sort of expected that you will. I've got a little bit of a light Bossa Nova accompaniment there as well, which is more of a Latin jazz style than really anything Brazilian. Okay, so the first two bars. So what we have here is an A minor 7, we've got a B7, E7, that takes us to bar 5. So what we're doing here is just keeping the bass on 1 and 3, and sometimes if I can I will go down to the 5th. So this is our chord 1. So the B7 is slightly unexpected because you would expect the chord 2 to be a half diminished chord, as you'd expect to hear in Manhã Carnaval, Carnival of the Morning, where you hear the half diminished, which is more of a diatonic chord. Instead here we have a B7, which is the 5th chord of E7, and E7 is the 5th chord of A minor. So we call it 5 of 5. And it just gives it a little bit of tension, and also the melodies is there as well. So that makes sense to play a B7. You can hear that in lots of different pieces, including in Rumba, Armando's Rumba of Chicoria. So this is the introduction. This is the start of the piece. We're up to we're up to bar 6 now. So we're going bar 5, bar 6, bar 7, and then so we've got A minor, chord 1, F major 7. This is chord 6, and then back to A minor. So we've got an E augmented sharp 9, E7 sharp 9 with a sharp 5. So that's quite an intense chord, or tense chord as you might call it. And it's still our chord 5. We're just adding extra tension by having a C in there, which is a very harsh interval, and also the G, which is, our regular E7 sharp 9 chord would be the Jimi Hendrix chord, but in this case we're going extra tension, which the C provides in that chord, which is our 6, which is our sharp 5. So it's just useful to know that it's almost what you would call an altered chord. Okay, so now we kind of start the verse. So we're going to go B7, back to our E7 sharp 5, back to our chord 1, 2 bars. Now we're going to go D minor 7, G13, and then C major 7. So this is our, can you pick what this chord progression is? You would be right if you said 2-5-1. So it's our chord 2-5-1 of C major, which is the relative major. So there's a little bit of a push towards the major there, and I've decided just to play the chord voicings open. So D minor 7, G13, which you could also play it like that. That consists of an F. Skip the G, E, B, and E. So it's really the 6th or 13th would be the E. Okay. And then our C major 7 again, open position. Now Now bar 17, we're going to go really lovely chromatic descending passage. So we've got B7. This is our B flat 7 sharp 11. Now this 7 sharp 11 chord is also featured in Girl from Ipanema, Garota de Ipanema. So there's our sharp 11 chord, sometimes also called flat 5. And it really acts as a passing chord from 7th, B7, to A minor. You might also sometimes see just a regular diminished chord, which is similar to that, but in this case we have 2 extra different notes. I should also add that if you tritone substitute the bass, you get our. So you take the bass note, move it down a tritone, and you get this chord, and that's used in chord substitution. But really, just for the sake of understanding the harmony function, you would just say it's a passing chord. Okay, so we're going to go A minor 7, which we're going to play in 5th position like that, and then here's our G sharp diminished chord. So this is again a passing chord. It's also quite similar to an E7 chord, or an E7 flat 9 chord, even closer to that. So it's kind of like a arrangement of that chord. So again, quite a bit of tension, but it sort of sits quite well in the chord progression. And then we go to A minor slash G sharp, G in the bass, and then some really jazzy chords here. So normally you'd play C7 sharp 9, B7 sharp 9, but in this case we're just going to bring the bass down for extra tension, and it sort of stays chromatic as well. All right, so we're going. In fact, it starts on the G and goes. So we play 2 bass notes on the G, and then F7 again chromatically down. Now this time it's a chord 6, but it's a 7th, which is often quite a common thing to do that. Going flat 6/5. Now the B section, it's quite a short B section. We're just doing A minor 7, going D7, D minor 7, and we just do that twice. And then we finish with a E7 augmented sharp 9. So there's big words, big sounding chords, but really it's just adding a note or two to add tension to the chord, especially if it's a 5 chord, because that's the most tense chord, alongside with the 2. I should say that we're going, the D is the chord 4, and again, you might consider sometimes the chord 4 becoming a dominant, which it does in this case, and then just back to minor. So there's a little bit of foray into, which has an F sharp and then an F natural. So there's a little bit of a movement there just internally in the chord, going from D7 to D minor.